This parable, as you've just heard, about the wheat and the weeds, is considered by some biblical scholars to be problematic because it's very allegorical. All of the images are really something else. For example, the householder is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed, the children of the kingdom. The bad seed, the children of the evil one, and so on. Very often, though, this passage is interpreted as referring to the end times. However, this past week, in my reading for this weekend, I came across another take on this parable that I found compelling. The Jesuit Father John Kavanaugh suggests that a primary theme in this parable is forgiveness. And since forgiveness is an issue that I encounter very often in the confessional, I thought it might be to the point to share some of his insight with you. In the gospel, the Master, that is to say, Jesus' response to their servants, asked him if they should pull out the weeds that have grown up within the wheat field was, no, let them grow together until harvest. Father Kavanaugh suggests that the wheat field represents each of us. With that, having sinned, at least to some degree in our lives, we can say that we have weeds growing up along with the good that is in us. You would think that those bad things should be rooted out, and very often that's what we try to do in the confessional. However, we never seem to be able to keep ourselves from giving into temptations. The weeds in us continue to grow. However, God lets us develop without destruction steadily, forgiving our weeds. That is to say, God recognizes that we all struggle in our lives, and sometimes we fail. However, as a favorite mystic of mine, the 14th century English mystic Julian of Norwich once wrote, "All shall be well, all manner of things shall be well." But what she was referring to is the fact that if we're open to God's grace, even our sins can become means to our growth in holiness if we learn from them and grow beyond them. So God is patient with us in his forgiveness. He enters even into the bad that we do and transforms it if we are willing to place our faith and trust in him. But that brings us to the question of our call to forgive each other. And this is what comes up all the time in the confessional. As you know, in Our Father, there's a line that's rather frightening. We say, forgive us our sins, or forgive us our temptations as we forgive those who trespass against us. Got that wrong. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Think about that. How much are we willing to do that? Because the challenge here is our forgiveness must imitate God's forgiveness of us. But of course, that's not easy. When someone wrongs us, or we wrong someone, very often the first impulse is to seek revenge. We level accusations. We become very focused on the bad that we see in each other. But God calls us to look beyond that, to the goodness that lies at the heart of everyone, just as he does. Yes, there are weeds in our lives, but God calls us to see as well the lovely flowers that he loves in all of us, which he calls us to love in each other as well. As Father Kavanaugh writes, and our faith teaches us, the bad that we do does not agree totally with our inner selves. None of the weeds growing in our lives are good, but they're only a part of who we are. We are all much more than the petty things that we too often fall into. We must not condemn ourselves or each other, but seek instead to foster the good in ourselves and in each other, thus helping each other to become more and more who God created us to be. What if Jesus had said on the cross, Father, damn them to hell for what they've done to me? Instead, he said, forgive them. They know not what they do. Even on the cross, Jesus saw the good in those who put him there, along with the bad. And to him, the good define them far more than the bad. With that, he shows us that forgiveness is letting go of angering injury and giving God a chance to love. God is always ready to do that for all of us. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we would always be willing to do that for each other?